Oh, KC, my friend, you've done it. You've released something really, really good. This one, KC ZAS, or the ZAS, if you want to call it that. Whichever way doesn't really matter. What matters is the sound, and for $77, this is... yeah, good. All right, unboxing the KC ZAS, very minimalist box with the KC logo in front, labels on the side. Inside the box sits the IEM. These also come in black, mine's the white version of course, and these look rather nice. I like them. Now inside the box, not much. We have the manual, we have the little bag of tips, only 3 sets of silicone tips are in here, and of course the cables. Now the cables, they're all right. They're not my favorite cables out there. They're just so-so, if I'm honest with you. If you guys want to upgrade, I wouldn't blame you. Hey guys, Tim here, welcome back to another video on GIS Audio, and today we have the KC ZAS. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with KC IEMs. I mean, I've read around the internet, of course. I've tried the KC ZS10, I believe, and I also have the EDX as well. I don't own that many. I know they release a lot of IEMs. A lot of them hit or miss, according to a lot of people, but this one is 100% a hit, and let me explain why. Let's jump right into the bass first. The bass on here is the most impressive thing on the IEM. The bass texture, the bass details, the bass speed, everything comes across like impressively correct, and it's $77. The first time I listened to these, I put on the song Bartender by Akon and T-Pain. That song, man, wow, these play that so good. And every song after that, I've just been focusing on listening to how good the bass on these IEMs are. And every song that I put on here, all kinds of bass, whether that being a sub-bass focused song, a mid-bass focused song, a fast bass song, or a slow, smooth bass song, these just play all bass really, really well. And it's the most impressive thing about these IEMs. And for the price, $77, I'm thoroughly impressed. Like, they're just really, really fun. If you're into bass, if you're a bass head, these might not be quite enough for bass head. I would say some of you guys are really like super bass head. You guys want all the bass. These might not be that, but you can easily EQ it to bump it up a little more. I would say that these are on the border of becoming a bass head IEMs. Either case though, the bass here is just really fun. Again, every song that I play on these, every kind of bass, it plays well. So there we go. For those of you who are looking for a well-textured bass, good bass speed, good bass detail at a low price, there you go. KC ZAS, that's the one for you. Moving on to the mid-range, and this is relatively well-tuned as well. The male vocals and the bass actually feel nicely separated. They don't bleed into each other. They feel like they have their own space in stage, if you will. Now, moving up to the upper mid-range, this is where it gets a little bit uneven. There's a little bit of shout in the upper mid-range. It's a little bit peaky at times, so some vocalist that falls right around that range can sound a little bit too forward, a little bit too shouty, and sometimes thin. Depends on where they land on that frequencies. They can sound thin or shouty. So I would say, KC, if you can tame that down a little bit, please don't change anything else about this IEM. Just tame down that shoutiness a little bit, then you would have a perfect mid-range, because male vocals sound fantastic. Majority of female vocals sound fantastic. The timbre on a lot of instruments sound good as well. There's a little bit of weightlessness. There's some BA timbres in this, but really not too much. Nothing that is off-putting to those of you who are not into BA timbre. But yes, some female vocals do come across shouty due to that little bit of peakiness there. So if you can EQ that down, maybe you can fix that problem. But KC, if you're listening to this, please release ZAS Pro version. Just tame that down and you would have the perfect budget IEM, like seriously. Now on to the treble, and these have sufficient treble. Good treble energy, good treble details as well. The little micro details are picked up quite nicely here. Now, it's not too much treble that I would consider bright, and it's not too little to where I would say that it doesn't have good extension either. So it's right at that sufficient level of treble. You get the micro details, you get the good female vocal extension. Speaking of the details in the treble area here, it really shines through with percussions. You feel every drum hits, you feel every snare drum hits. Every little bit of hits and slamming the percussion comes across distinct and almost sharp in a way, but not too sharp, nothing harsh or anything like that, just distinct and satisfying. Moving on, we have technical performance. We have the detail, separation, stage, and imaging, right? All that stuff. Now, if you are listening to the first half of the video, you might be thinking, Timmy, are you describing the perfect IEM? Are you hyping this thing up too much? It seems too perfect. What is wrong with it? I want to know right now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, these don't have good imaging or soundstage. The soundstage in here, let's touch on that first. The soundstage in here is, it's all right. It's like kind of in your head in a way, and the imaging is a little bit congested as well due to how congested the stage kind of feel. Now, it's not super congested, I'm not saying that, but it's not wide either. It's just average kind of inside your head kind of feeling, which is a shame. I think this has to do with the kind of the shoutiness in the upper mid-range that really kind of squeeze the sound or makes the sound feel a bit more congested, squeezed, if you will. I think that's the culprit of it. So yeah, soundstage is rather average. Imaging as well is just all right. You can kind of tell which direction each instruments are coming from for the most part, but it's not really gonna be the most pinpoint thing in the world. It's just average at best. So yeah, imaging and soundstage really didn't impress me all too much. Now on to details, sheer resolution. These are quite impressive to me. Yeah, they have quite good level of details, especially micro details, the treble details. Those are well done. Percussions, like I said. Vocals come across nice and clean with clarity. It's not veiled in any way. The bass doesn't bleed into the lower mid-range. And I've already touched upon how great the bass is and how great the bass texture is on these. So there we go. That's the resolution. It's rather impressive, especially for $77. Now on to the final verdict, and we'll do some quick comparison as well versus the Moondrop Aria, which is another mainstay in the same price tag. The CAS, of course, 77, the Aria is 79. These are, I would say, side grades of each other. They're different signatures. You want them for different reasons. The Aria is definitely better than the CAS in some areas, especially the vocals. The Aria is just more clean, more smooth, but the CAS wins in bass and the CAS wins in treble and overall micro details. Macro details, separation, staging, and imaging goes straight to the Aria. The Aria beats the CAS in that category by a long margin. But again, in the bass, the CAS wins over Aria any day of the week. If you're a bass head, I would suggest going for the CAS. If you're into more vocals, I would suggest going for the Aria. Either one, you won't really be disappointed. If you really need wide stage, Aria has the wider stage. But yeah, at the end of the day, it really comes down to preference. Bass head, CAS. Vocals, Aria. Treble and percussion, CAS. Wide stage, Aria. All right guys, that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join our Facebook group, see these videos early. And with that being said, if you find this video helpful in any way, please click the subscribe button, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, bye.